Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this one I'm going to tell you about my older profession, which is procrastination. Okay, yes you guys, I used to be a master procrastinator. I used to procrastinate like nobody's business, and I'm not talking about, you know, the type of procrastination where it's Tuesday and you're supposed to clean around your house and you put it back to Thursday, and then Thursday actually comes and you actually clean around. Okay, I'm talking about the type of procrastination that keeps you away from going to the loo. Okay, now I'm sorry this is graphic you guys, but it is also true. Okay, I would stay in bed for days at a time, for weeks at a time, for hours at a time. Like I would feel like I need to go to the loo, and I would stay in bed for like 3 hours, like literally, you know. Thank God for me, I have quite a good, you know, I'm still young age, so you know my body system is still quite good, because I would keep this pee until I could no longer hold it, and then 3 hours later I would actually go to the loo. Also, you guys, please do not email me about this video, about asking me whether, you know, I'm not embarrassed for sharing this. No, I'm not. If I was, I wouldn't share it, right? You guys done this with one of my videos. Like, I don't like that. Okay, like I would only be embarrassed if I lie. I say this all the time. I would never be embarrassed about the truth. I would never be embarrassed about my truth. Okay, so, and at the time I was just in a very bad place in life, you guys. I used to live in this apartment that I hated, and a lot of stuff in my life was just not going like in the way that I wanted. I didn't have a driving license, I didn't have a car. Keep in mind I was already like 26, 27 at the time. Not that there was anything wrong with being that age and not having those things if you don't desire them, but I did want those things and I didn't have them, and that really affected my mental health. It really affected how I felt about myself. It made me feel like, you know, like as if I was a failure, as if I was not getting anywhere in life, as if all these other people were going on with their life and I was getting nowhere, which you should never do. You know, you should never compare your life with other people, but I'll get into that later. Now and you know, I knew at the time that whatever was going on in my life was not normal, to be honest. I just knew that something was wrong, but I couldn't tell what it was. You know, I didn't know exactly what it was, but I did know that something was not quite right. And in this one I just want to really encourage you guys, if you suffer from extreme procrastination, like if you really procrastinate to no end, morning, evening, afternoon, for days at a time, weeks at a time, hours at a time, then I want to ask you guys to really, you know, go back within yourself and ask yourself if there is not something deeper going on. Now, I'm not a mental health professional, I will admit that, but I really do believe that procrastinating to that extent is really a sign of unhealed childhood trauma. This is not about being lazy or being dirty anymore, and this is something that I used to accuse myself of. I used to shame myself because I would never like clean around my apartment. I would never like, it would take me sometimes, I would say, like 2 days without being able to have the energy to take a shower. Now, I never let it go past 2 days. You know, on the third day I would always take, like, you know, a quick shower, but it wasn't like something that, you know, was rare for me to stay a whole 48 hours without taking a shower. I would struggle to, you know, just do like the normal things, I guess, that, you know, normal humans do. You know, things like just brushing your teeth and stuff like that. It's really something that I would dread. I would stay in bed again for hours dreading like doing this. You know, it was just really bad, and the only way that I have found back then to cope with that was to invite someone to come by, right? So I would be in bed for hours, and then I would like scroll through my phone, and I would be looking for somebody that, you know, I care enough about to invite them by my house, because I knew that by doing that they would force me to get out of bed and clean around my house, because I would not want them to judge me. Now, this should have been my clue that something again was wrong, because like, why would you care more about other people's opinion of you than you care about your own opinion of you, right? Like, this should have been my clue that whatever I was going through was internal. But back then, that's the only way I found. So I would, you know, text a friend and like, hey, you know, it's been a while, I miss you, would you like to come by after tomorrow? And then I would know, okay, I only have 2 days to get this apartment together, because, you know, this person is gonna come and they're gonna judge me, not thinking, you know, And I want to say this, you guys, you should keep your house clean, or your room, if you live in a room, clean, not because, you know, of the judgment of your parents, if they are the people you live with, or roommates, or, you know, friends, if you live alone in your own apartment. Like, keeping your space, you know, neat and tidy is a sign of self-love. At first, you're doing it for yourself because you deserve to be in a clean environment, okay? You deserve to feel good about yourself and, you know, wear nice things and put yourself together first and foremost for you, for yourself, right? So again, if you're going through this should be an internal clue that something is wrong, because you shouldn't care more about other people's judgment than you care about your own. But like I said before, I'm sorry guys, I'm rambling. That's the only way back then that I had found to be able to deal with the extreme procrastination that was going on in my life. At the time, I wasn't working. Now, luckily for me, and I understand that not everybody who watches this video is going to be in the same predicament as I was back then, but I could rely on my family to support me financially. I could rely on ex-partners to support me. So I would just stay in bed all day, every day, and watch YouTube, right? Literally, that's what I would do all day. I would watch YouTube videos, right? And when I tell you guys, creating content is something that is so deep and so important to me, because YouTube saved my life. Now, when I say this, you know, I'm not saying this like lightly. You know, I'm not somebody who says anything lightly. Anyone who knows me in real life will tell you I'm somebody who weighs my words, okay? I'm always very careful about the things that I say, right? So I remember scrolling on the internet, on YouTube, and then I would find, I don't know how I found myself on the mental health, I guess, side of YouTube, on the personal development side of YouTube. And I would watch this video thinking, you know, this speaks to me. You know, I do this, I'm guilty of this, you know, I do that. And really, you know, after one video, YouTube, you know, the algorithm catches your drift, and they propose to you like recommend to you similar videos. And I would watch these videos all day thinking, you know, oh my God, you know, like, this is what I'm going through, like, you know. And those really helped me. And I remember, I will never forget one day when, at the time I was going through divorce, I was really at a low point in my life, you guys, like the lowest point I've ever been in, really. And I remember crying from sunrise to sunset. I'm not even being, you know, dramatic. Now, I'm very dramatic as a person, but I'm not even exaggerating, you guys. I literally cried from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed. Literally cried from sunrise to sunset. And it wasn't like, you know, some crying, like some cute crying, whatever. It was some ugly crying, you guys, like yelling. It was really, I was really down bad, you guys, like really down bad. And I remember at the evening, as I was about to fall asleep because I was so exhausted from crying all day, I remember making this promise to myself that if I ever make it out of this state that I'm in, this low point that I'm in, I'm going to try and, you know, pass it forward. I'm going to try and, you know, help somebody else. So if this video can help even one person, I will be really grateful for that, because Lord knows there was a day where I needed this content. Okay, Lord knows this content literally saved my life. Okay, I don't know if I would be here today if it wasn't for those videos back then, if it wasn't for those people back then who put me on to childhood trauma. Now, I'm going to give a couple of tips that I have implemented that help me. If you have recognized yourself in what I shared in my backstory, if you have recognized yourself in you know, being a master really procrastinator. And I still procrastinate, you guys. I'm not going to sit here and lie. You know, I do procrastinate at times. No, not nearly as much as I used to. Okay, I'm nowhere near as much you know, as I used to, but I do procrastinate sometimes a bit here and there. Only last week I wanted to clean around my apartment and it didn't happen, but I did do it, you know, on Monday. So I do end up, you know, doing the things now that I set for myself, even if it's a little bit later. Now, what I'm going to say is, whatever you do, do not shame yourself. This is crucial, you guys. The last thing I want is for you to watch this video or any, you know, any other video and, you know, be like, oh, something is wrong with me, you know, I'm dirty, I'm lazy. Or even if you don't watch this video, you know, perhaps before you watch it, perhaps you think about how much you procrastinate and you feel like something is wrong with you. You feel like you're dirty, you feel like you're lazy. Why can't I be like other people? Why can't I have the energy to wake up and clean around my house like normal people do? Why can't I, you know, keep a job like normal people do. And I know some of you guys, you know, some people who suffer from extreme procrastination do have to work, like I say, because, you know, they need income, because everybody need money, because, you know, they don't want to be homeless. And then, you know, you go to work and all the energy you have, literally the little energy you have to focus all of this in your job. And by the time you come home, like, you're drained. You don't have the energy to do anything else, because you put like even more energy than you had in keeping a job. Like, I understand that's very real, because I have been also in that predicament when I was working as a waitress, where, you know, all the energy I had was just to work, right? And even then I would be at work and I would have to go to the bathroom and cry for like 40 or 45 minutes, and then I would come back and ask the people, do you wish for anything else with your coffee, sir? It was I mean, thank God for, you know, taking me out of those days, because those days were really dark and it was really a hard time, a bad time for me in life. Not that my life is perfect now, you know, every human being have problems. I'm not claiming to have a perfect life, but definitely I'm in a much better place than I used to be back then. But what I was saying is, whatever you do, do not shame yourself. Do not compare also yourself to other people. This is crucial, you guys. Like, so many of us are guilty of this, going around comparing our very real life that we have, you know, a 180 on bit and pieces that content creators share. You know, be mindful when you are scrolling on Instagram, on TikTok. You know, if there's anything I learned from the recent development in Jamie and Nikki's story, and no, you guys, I will not make a dedicated video about that. I know that some of you guys emailed me about this. It's a no for me. Actually, a lot of you guys, okay, because this is a small channel and I had like 9 people write me about this. It's a no for me, sis, okay? Listen, I'm messy, but I end up messy. I will not be sharing publicly whatever I think about that situation. Y'all be messy, okay? Y'all are messy, I see y'all. But there is one thing, the only thing that I'm going to say about that situation is that for me, it reinforced something that I already knew, and something that I always try to keep in mind when scrolling on Kelly Rowland's internet, is that you never know what's happening behind closed door. You guys, keep in mind, you don't know content creators. It doesn't matter if they share with you, if you were there with them as they were giving birth to their kids, if they showed you around their houses. I showed you guys around my home, you know, around my apartment. Y'all still don't know me. Whatever I say also apply to me, okay? You don't know me. It doesn't matter if people have shared with you their deepest, darkest secret. There are other things they have not shared with you, okay? I know that parasocial relationships are real, but you guys, be mindful and always remind yourself, you don't know content creators. These people are sharing bits and pieces of their life, curated bits and pieces, edited bits and pieces. I mean, even the pictures be edited, talk less of the videos, okay? So do not watch anybody's life feeling like, you know, oh, you wish you were them. Okay? If you see a couple kissing in Paris under the Eiffel Tower, keep in mind how you haven't seen that credit card bill. Now, I'm not saying that said couple was not able to afford that holiday. I'm just saying we didn't see the bill. You don't know if they were agreeing 5 minutes prior to taking that picture or 5 minutes after it. Again, perhaps they're perfectly happy. But I'm just saying, we don't know. It could be the one or the other, so don't assume, because we don't know, okay? So don't shame yourself based on other people thinking, oh, see, other people are capable, you know, of keeping jobs, or capable of keeping their house clean, or capable of keeping up with their hygiene. You are not them, they are not you. You know, they have not been through whatever it is you've been through. They have not been through whatever you survived. They didn't have your parents, they didn't have your childhood. So don't compare your very real life to theirs, right? Just don't do that to yourself. Now, the second tip is really introspect and go back and ask yourself whether you are blocking some memories. This is very real. Our brains do this to, you know, support us, to help us, to protect us, really, because there's only so much trauma you can take. And, you know, if you had a very traumatic childhood, if you grew up in a very toxic household, if you had parents that, you know, perhaps were not, you know, the best at parenting, what can happen sometimes is that your brains just shut down. It does block out memories so that you can continue, you know, to survive, so that you can, you know, continue living on your day-to-day life without like going absolutely, you know, crazy. So I really want to encourage you guys to get into deep journaling. Really think back about your childhood, about the household you grew up in. Was it like normal? Were the behaviors of your parents normal according to what you are hearing out there? Did you suffer any form of physical abuse? Were your parents violent? would they hit on you when you were a child? You know, obviously trigger warning here, have you experienced sexual molestation as a child? This is sometimes a memory that we can block out. I know that I did that in order to survive, especially if you have to live with your abuser in the home, or if you see your abuser often. You know, it's a memory you block out so that you can cope with, you know, having to deal with them on a day-to-day basis. So this is also something that I encourage you guys to think of. Any form of verbal abuse, humiliation, you know, parents not allowing any form of boundaries, any form of self-expression, any form of personality of your own, being pushed into extreme introversion, any form of really abuse, heavy or light, you know, I would like for you guys to think about this. And the last tip I will share before cutting off this video is talk to a mental health professional, perhaps support group. I know that therapy can be pricey, but think about apps like betterhelp.com, which is more affordable than your traditional therapy. I think it runs around $140 a month. So if you can afford that, you know, anybody who has been through unhealed childhood trauma could benefit from talking to a mental health professional about it. If you can't afford that, try watching a couple of YouTube videos. I mean, there are even videos from mental health professionals, so not only videos from people like me who are just, you know, survivors trying to help, but videos from actual mental health professionals. There are many therapists who create content, whether it be on TikTok, on Instagram, or here on YouTube. You could join support groups online, share where people share their tips and tricks and their own stories. Perhaps sharing your story could help, or perhaps you could learn a thing or two about how people survive and cope with what they've been through and stuff like that. My heart goes out to you if you are somebody who've had an extremely traumatic childhood and who's suffering the consequences of that. I hope you heal. I hope you find light. I hope you find love. I hope things get better. It can get better. My life has gotten better tremendously, and that is definitely my hope and my wish for you. I pray for you. I hope you well. You know, I pray you well, and I pray you heal. And on that note, I'm going to stop right here. If you found this video helpful in any way, shape, or form, do not forget to give it a thumbs up. In the comment section down below, let me know, you know, what are your top tips in order to overcome extreme procrastination, you know, in order to help anybody who would watch the video. Perhaps they can read something that can be helpful. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel as well, and I will talk to you guys, I guess, Saturday night, right? Saturday around 7:30. Okay, I will try for the video to be up by then. Bye guys. Mwah.